Okay, confession time before we get into this video. So you've probably already seen the Crag Milsurp, market video, and it's like, well, now I'm doing another one, and I haven't moved. So, I've been doing all the construction around here. I'm actually at the John1911 range, but where you have seen this at in the past was never at the range. It was always in the office. Well, this is now out at the range, which is kind of weird for me, but I'm in a very large building, a barn, and I have a new audio set up, and I'm just trying to test the audio. So I'm not real happy with how the audio sounds compared to the old way, but the old way I was recording audio, it sounded like I was at an NFL football stadium, and that wasn't going to work long term. So, leave a comment below if you think this audio is okay. So what are we talking about today? SKS rifles. Talked about the Crag. It's been on a long-term to-buy list, and I'm ashamed to admit this, but an SKS rifle has been on our medium-ish to-buy list. And I have a funny story with that. So I haven't owned an SKS rifle in over 30 years. And you have to understand something. 30 years ago, the SKS rifle was considered crap. It was considered the gun of the wannabes or the douchebags or the, maybe hillbillies or tactical. Everybody, people would buy a case of ammo and get a couple SKSs with it and go out and just tear them up and then, get rid of them. You could buy them for 30 and 40 bucks. I shit you not. So the last one that I had 30 years ago, I actually gave it away. That's how little I thought about it. We had bought a collection from an individual, and in this collection there was an SKS, and I knew a big city police officer, around here. I'm not going to say the department because I don't know if that would be appreciated. A big city police officer, and he was an old-time cop. He had gotten onto the force with this big city, I think in the late 50s. And so when I was talking to him, this was in the probably early-ish 90s. So he was about on his way out, and he and I became friends. He always worked third shift, and so we would talk and, kind of hit it off, and, would just swap stories and just, jaw jack and all that kind of stuff. So, but he had a son whom I had never met, who had just gotten on with the sheriff's office. It just graduated from the academy, and, kid had no money, is working in the jail as they all do, and it just, it sucks, but, Daddy was proud. And so it just occurred to me to, one night, I hunted down the old man, and he used to call himself a copper because of the original copper police badges. Actually called himself a copper. And hunted down the old man and asked him how his son was doing. And I said, when I presented him with the SKS, and I said, it doesn't really mean a lot to me, but I know your son, wants to get into some guns and really can't afford anything, and maybe he would enjoy it. And he gave it to his son. Now, what's interesting is that was 30 years ago. The person that I gave the gun to, the young deputy, is probably now retired. So, so I gave SKSs away, and now I had to go out and buy one that, at a modern price. And so if I'd known then that I would be buying an SKS now in 2024 for what I paid for this thing, I probably wouldn't have given it away. But it has occurred to me in running the reference collection that we have to have, examples of everything, and things are starting to dry up. Yeah, you can still see SKSs. There's the Yugos, the Chinese. Obviously, the Russians have now gotten real expensive. We're a type collector, not a variant collector. So our reference library, this is a Chinese SKS. Don't care. If it's Russian or Chinese, there's obviously some differences, with the poker and all that kind of thing. And we'll get into this a little bit. But, it's like, I can't believe I'm buying an SKS because I need it for the reference collection. And if I don't buy it now, in the foreseeable future, it's going to be more expensive. And it just, so here's what we have. I would call this shooter grade. This is a Chinese Norinco made SKS. I think this might be called a Type 56. I literally didn't even really look at it. Like I didn't, the day I bought it, I didn't know I was going to buy an SKS. So the serial number, just to give you an idea of how many of these there are, the serial number on this gun is 22 million, okay? So let's see, yeah, 22 million. I mean, I don't know how many they made, but there's a lot of them. And this gun is actually, it was imported by, let's see here, CSI Ontario, Canada, or no, Ontario, California, Canada. ONT, wherever, ONT, is that right? ONT, California. So let's go ahead and show it here a little bit. And this has been in the country probably for a long time. And it is almost all matching, which, kind of helps it and kind of hurts it. And for our purposes, it helps it because it takes a little bit off the price. The only thing that is not matching on this gun serial number wise is the magazine underneath. The magazine, it looks like it matches the gun. I don't believe it was a situation where, maybe in the old days some kid took off the magazine and then put like a aftermarket thing as all the kids did. Maybe they did, I don't know, but this got replaced and it doesn't match the gun. Also, the stock matches it's matching stock serial number, but you will also notice there's a bunch of marks or hash marks on this gun. And, there's some, the delamination or, the clear coat coming off there. So I don't know, I'm sure some Chinese person didn't do that. That's probably, I don't know, maybe some kid, that's all the deer he killed, but that's looking like a lot of deer. I don't know. I just don't know. Some of it looks intentional, but it's so random. It's obviously intentional, but I don't know what the purpose was. Also, for those of you that are, interested, it does have the cleaning kit. It goes into the buttstock. And let's see what else is there. It has a sling on it. I assume that this is something that, somebody put on in the United States. But, my stories about how little we thought of the SKS rifle, and then I had to actually buy one today, can even be, verified by, somebody tearing up, the stock, putting a bunch of marks on it, or taking the magazine off and probably putting some aftermarket tap coat thing on to get a bunch of rounds, so you can get a higher capacity through it. So, yes, we have an SKS rifle. I can't believe I had to buy it. And I guess the lesson for you is at home, if there is a gun that you own, and even if you don't think a whole lot of it, if there is even a remote possibility that you will want it in the future, don't sell it. Maybe give it away to a young deputy starting off his career. But other than that, don't sell it. You'll regret it later because you're going to spend 12 times what you paid for it 30 years ago. So if you want to see any more stories or pictures or links of shooting the SKS, please go to our website at John1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun, everybody. Have a good day.